Well, it looks like it's Old Man Random Thoughts number 24. Still playing around with the camera and the lighting, etc., etc. I just successfully downloaded and installed Pencil 2D, which is a fairly basic animation software. And I messed around with it a little bit just now. It seems to play nice with the Wacom One 13-inch tablet. A great little unit, big enough. I usually draw on a clipboard with 8.5 by 11 paper. So it's just about the right size, although it's nice to work in larger sometimes. I did have a larger, like a $1,200 28 inch, I don't think it was 32, but a big tablet, and it's really too much. I mean, it's an HD, it was a 4K HD display and drawing right on it. We will see what happens. I don't know anything about animation, just the basics, but there's some possibilities there. One thought is YouTube Shorts, which I think if you did the animation right, and there's a lot of horrible looking stuff out there, something for the future. You know, the subject that I think I'll put up on this video is my mother's passing, Albert Camus, and Alzheimer's. Albert Camus was a French writer who wrote a book called The Stranger, L'Estrange, that I remembered. I recalled the book and its idea at the time my mother died. This is a couple of months ago. She was 101. She fell and broke her hip. And the shock of that, I guess, she was dead in a day. While we were debating what we should do, the family, my sister and daughter, and I, and she solved the question for us. I was reminded of Camus' book because the central premise of the book was that the takeaway I didn't get was that the world doesn't care. Maybe I just assumed that and didn't think it was new information. The principal character shoots an Algerian. This occurs in Algeria, French Algeria, and he shoots an Arab. There's no reason given why, especially the heat of the sun. Maybe that was his defense. But he's put on trial, and it's never stated in the book, but the suggestion might be that a Frenchman is going to be treated better in court than an Algerian having the same charge. Well, he's in court and he is sentenced to death, and it's suggested strongly in the story that the reason that he's sentenced to death is because he didn't cry at his mother's funeral. That his indifference, not cold and nasty indifference, but just a quiet, assumed indifference to the rest of the world, somewhat. His lover asks him that perennial question, do you love me? Do you really love me? And he says, I don't think love gets involved with it. I don't know if I love you. I don't really know. The funeral director testified at his trial that he hadn't cried, that he didn't see this man cry at the funeral, and that he didn't seem to have the appropriate emotions. Well, I was reminded of that probably because I didn't cry when my mother died. You know, I might have teared up slightly. And I did wonder why. My brother died last year, and I cried a bit for that. But in the case of my mother, she's had Alzheimer's for the last 10 years, and it went from a little bit to total. And like 4 years ago, she was a ghost almost. She would go through the house on her walker from the bedroom to the bathroom to the computer, and then retrace that when she was tired enough. And she would pass me and my sister and my niece, and she'd pass people not knowing them, not paying any attention to them. And if you talked to her, she might respond, but she didn't know who you were. And somehow I think that she didn't die until a couple of months ago, but she had left. She wasn't there anymore. She went somewhere else. And so it wasn't a shock like that somehow. I don't know. Plus, I'm starting to think I'm kind of indifferent. My brother died, yes, and I cried then because, and I did have that thought that people always seem to have in those situations where I thought, when was the last time I saw him? Because he was living up in northern Maine. When was the last time I saw him? What did we say? Did I think at the time I might never see him again? Starting to tear up now. But why didn't I for my mom? I didn't hate her. I didn't dislike her. Yeah, she left years ago, thanks to the Alzheimer's thing. And I have talked to people here. This is a retirement area, so there's lots of people who have experience with Alzheimer's, and a few, every once in a while, that have it. But I thought about myself. Am I indifferent in the same way the character in The Stranger is? People here will cry over their pet that died. My daughter can't come down. One of the many reasons was that, she has all these animals to take care of. And I don't think I'm cold and heartless, but I don't feel the need to possess an animal. And somebody says they're an animal owner or a dog owner. Not so much for cat owners, because they know they don't own the cat, but a dog owner. I said, well, how in the hell can you own? The animal stays around for practical reasons and affection, yes. And cats, their affection, they have affection, but mostly for the upkeep. You feed them and you clean up their poop. But anyway, I feel more affection. I feel affection toward animals, but I don't want to have one. I don't want to possess one. I don't want to be parent to one. And that's one of the things that occurs in the United States. There's an awful lot of, they call them furry kids. They're not disguising it. They are substitute for children that aren't there. If there are children, then the children help take care of the emotional needs of the animals. Anyway, and the other thing, not the heartless, I didn't cry, but sports. I'm not a sports fan. We've got one guy here, nice guy. I lived across the street from him for a while. But he said, you never come over. He said, I got the big screen and the big games on. Stupid Bowl was yesterday, I think. Anyway, I got the big screen and the beers in the cooler, and inviting a bunch of guys over. Well, I did that once, and it was like I don't know. I was not in the right place, because the stuff going on the screen didn't mean anything to me. I mean, yeah, all these events happen on the screen. Somebody runs, they got the ball, all this shit. All this caca. And everybody's getting excited, and everybody's talking about the things related to the team, and so got traded, and so didn't get traded, and they should have kept this player, and boy, could he throw a pass. Blah. Anyway, so I politely decline invitations now to big sports games. I mean, I think I might feel the same way if it was a chess competition from somewhere, and it was on the big screen, and they do that. But that's a different sort of excitement. That's I don't know if you get drunk to watch that. Anyway, That's number 24 in the can, and it'll go up out of order. I'm giving up on trying to do these things according to OMRT order. Well, I'll get to work on the animation, see if we can find something silly enough to insert into these. Until I see you again in that little lens over there, and you see me again on your big 35-inch TV. Ciao.